Go again, yo, everyone. The Starlight Let's Player is here, and welcome to part 2 of the Pretty Cure event in Puyo Quest. So this time, Nagisa and pretty much was able to run into Honoka, and the two are finally united. So, yeah, like I said, I don't think there's nothing really for me to describe much about this because again, this is all in Japanese. There's not really much voice acting in this game. I feel like if this game really did have voice acting, maybe they would have gotten maybe they would have gotten Yokohana, Yukana, and Ritanaka to provide their roles as Cure's Black, White, and Shiny Luminous, And I think the same can also be said for Meppo's Meppo and Mipple's voice actor and actress as well. As well as Porn and Lumon's voice actors as well. So but who knows? Maybe they'll probably had to put in a bit of budget, in order to have the actual voice, actual voice acting, because this game came out in I believe 2014, so almost 10 years. It's been almost 10 years since this game came out, which is crazy because I've seen games on mobile that pretty much only lasted for around maybe 5 to 6 years. Take the Pretty Cure Connection puzzling game that came out in 2017, and it only lasted for about 6 years. Well, not 6 years, but I believe I think the game pretty much shut down in either 2020 or 2021. It was probably 2020. That's what I'm assuming. So it probably shut down in 2020. Yeah. So that pretty much had a short shelf life, which is a bit unfortunate because the game is pretty fun. And, I would say that maybe they could have expanded worldwide, and maybe if the game would have gone worldwide, they would have had a few more years to last. But then again, Puyo Quest is Japanese only, and is still ongoing to this day. But you know what? At least it's nothing. At least it's nothing compared to what Rovio had to go through with their Angry Birds game. I mean, the fact that they had to take down their original game because it was taking too much, that was taking away the attention of all their other games. That was I think that was the pettiest reason for them to take down the game. They literally Rovio literally just ruined his own. It literally just ruined his own career as a company. And I doubt they'll probably bounce back from that. So because you think about it, they've oversaturated the Angry Birds game with so many different types of games. I'm talking Angry Birds Star Wars, Angry Birds in Space. There was the Angry Birds Go Racing game, which I actually played on when I had my Kindle tablet. So there was that. And yeah, there was many more different types of Angry Bird games. I feel like that was really oversaturated. And they even had their own Angry Birds movies, which did well in sales. Even though the second movie didn't really do as well as the first one. I can tell by the sales, but I can't really say much on why, because I haven't really watched those movies before, so I can't really dictate on how bad their movies are. But the way they oversaturated Angry Birds, all because it was it was pretty much the #1 IP. It was the main source that was gaining them a lot of income from the games as well as the merchandise and all of that. It was you come to a point to where maybe maybe you should, maybe I should probably like ease back and maybe try something new. No, which I'm pretty sure they probably did, but the problem was that again, Angry Birds, that was pretty much their main IP. That was something that they just keep oversaturating, and it was like they tried to make something new, but like the one game they couldn't do anything to like at least be on the same level as Angry Birds. So, well, I do understand what they had to go through, but at the same time, the fact that they just spit in their fans' faces by taking down their games in the hopes of trying to like get people to give attention to their other games, which had like the gacha, which was pretty much in the gacha lane, and had like the microtransactions. That's a bit fucked. That's just them turning on their fans at that point. But you know, I think that was only one instance of that happening. And I'm pretty sure like there are many other games that pretty much had a short shelf life, but pretty much ended prematurely. Like Connection Puzzling, that ended prematurely. That pretty much shut down, but there was no backlash or anything like that. It was a clean shut. They shut the game down. It was no controversy. Just a clean way of saying goodbye to the game. There was also Sonic 4 Episode 1, which wasn't even supposed to be called Sonic 4. It was actually supposed to be called Sonic the Mobile, but Sega wanted to capitalize off the Genesis games and wanted to turn this into Sonic 4 Episode. They wanted to turn this into Sonic 4, which honestly, I can kind of see why people would not consider that game as the true Sonic 4, but Episode 2 of Sonic 4 actually felt like the true Sonic 4 in my opinion. I feel like that game deserves a lot of love. Not Episode 1, but Episode 2 in general. I feel like that alone is Sonic 4. But that's just me though. I know some people might consider Sonic Advance or Sonic Mania as Sonic 4, even though I disagree with that. But you know, I can see why people would actually consider those games as the true Sonic 4. But you know, I can't really say on Sonic Advance, but I can say for Sonic Mania, like I said, I didn't really enjoy the game that much. The only parts I enjoyed about the game was the music and the level design. I think the level design is really great, but I just cannot get used to the physics and the momentum of classic Sonic. But that's just me. And by the way, speaking okay, ignore that. But anyway, speaking of which, by the way, this game, Sonic has also collaborated with this game as well. So, yeah, Puyo and Sonic the Hedgehog, they both collaborated like many times. I'm pretty sure in Sega Superstars Tennis, where there was a minigame called Puyo Pop Fever, where you're basically just playing it like it's not really much of a tennis game. You're basically just using your tennis ball and you're trying to hit the Puyos to clear as many while also clearing the garbage Puyos. Puyo Tetris 2. They had Sonic as a free DLC character until he became permanently added into the game. And then you have this game, Puyo Quest, where this game also collaborated with Sonic the Hedgehog. Although in that collaboration, it actually had they also brought in Amy, Tails, and I also believe Knuckles as well. So yeah, it was a full-fledged collaboration between the two. So yeah, I think that's about it for this part. My apologies if I rambled on a bit more about on this, but like, you know, considering that this was a mobile game, I just couldn't resist like talking about other mobile games that either had like a short shelf life or is still prospering. But yeah, that's about it. I'll stick around for I'll see you guys in part 3. But until then, it's the Starlight Let's Player signing out. As always, Goki Genyo, and have a star-tastic day, everyone.
knew I would fulfill my dream, yeah. They knew I started from the bottom, now I made it, yeah. The possibilities are endless, yeah, I say, yeah. I got the roots and I got everything I need, yeah. And now I'm chilling with a pretty gentle lady, yeah. She got a kind and gentle personality, yeah. She got them curvy hips and a booty for booty.